So this is our demo. You actually start on this home page, and when you get right into it, it'll prompt you to initialize the map. We just taken the liberty to go ahead and do that ahead of time. So as Ben mentioned, it starts off with the 330 or so green markets that Honda can consider initially. So as you go into step one, we're going to look at the different criteria that Harshad mentioned. So let's say we want to look at metro areas that have at least 1 million people or more. Let's say we want to look at, we want the population of those metro areas to have at least 25% of them be 45 or up. And similarly with household income, we'll do, let's say, 14%. And then college degree, we want well-educated consumers, so let's say 26%. And just for fun, let's bump this up to 30%. Because we want to make sure we have some affluent people who are older, wiser, and knowledgeable about our product. So as you submit this, it'll go through and filter down those 330 markets into some number of markets that meet all those criteria. So here it found there's 9 markets that meet those criteria. They're all highlighted in green. So you'll see the Seattle area, San Francisco, Oakland area, DC area, there's some other areas. So there's 9 of those. Now we look at the environmental rating that Harshad mentioned. So we're looking at these different factors that we think as a Honda manager might be important, and we're putting different weights on them. So let's say the current state of electricity consumption, transportation, not that important to us. So let's give it a 5% weighting. This stuff, like local efforts for sustainable environment, is really important. Current state of the environment, we think is important. Right now, the current hybrid vehicle consumption, we think, is a good indicator of people who would buy fuel cell vehicles. Again, it's that awareness in that community, so we'll rate that at 20%. And any states that have tax incentives or other incentives for people to buy alternative fuel vehicles is important for us, so we'll give that at 20%. We're not too concerned with areas that have high smog or high kind of pollution particles, so we'll just give that a 5% rating. So as you submit those, it calculates a green score, and of those 9 markets that it found in the first step, it's ranking those based on its environmental rating. So here it's just giving you the top 3 that it found with its rating. So here, the lower the rating, the better the environmental score. See this? And then the third step is to optimize the resources. So here the Honda manager is going to see what's my budget. So let's say there's a pretty big budget at 50 million, and here they're going to put in what the minimal rating they want for that environmental score. So let's just say we want at least a 40. So as you submit that, it's going to go through the solver process basically. So it's taking in the inputs from step 1, which are all the eligible markets, step 2, which is those markets' environmental ratings, and then it's also looking at other factors like the weather and dealer networks. So there's a metro area that has an established dealer network, then that's going to make it much easier for us to enter that market. So those are some certain criteria that it's going through right now.
Is it solver that's running?
Yeah, it's solver. That's right. We want to make sure we have the optimal solution, so it's going to take a few seconds to think.
Can I ask a question while this is running?
Yeah, sure.
So all those inputs you just put in, the environmental inputs,
yep.
Do those link to things from MapPoint or stuff that you got data from other sources?
No, those are from other sources. We looked at some different environmental ratings. There's different lists of like greenest cities, and those different lists emphasize some of those factors that we were weighting.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if you want to see in the end, we can kind of show you the back.
I just thought maybe it was from that point. I didn't think that. That's all. Thank you.
So of these, so of those 9 markets, it based on our resource constraints, it narrowed it down to some number of markets that we'll see in a second. But the top 3 that I found were San Francisco, Boston, and San Jose.
How do you like that, Eric?
For some reason it's thinking right now, so in a second I can show you the outputs. But here you can see that it's highlighted all these markets. So San Francisco, so this is the output screen. So here, these are the top 5 markets that it found in. It's actually important to know that these are not ranked in any order. We based our solver optimization on expected units that we could sell in each of these markets based on just a combination of these different factors. And but they're not ranked here because at this point it requires some sort of managerial intuition to see, what other subjective factors might influence, which markets to go into. So there, I think.